one time we were playing the gig, and I'm not going to name names, but a certain family came with their 2 kids, and they were distracted by the older child, and the younger child came up and while I was playing the keys.
With a big smile on his face.
Came up and bit me on the thigh really, really hard. A full mouthful of thigh.
These beautiful souls are my good friends Blanca Gonzalez and Jesse Elder. Here they are winning the award for Most Creative Masquerade Costumes. Blanca's from Columbia and holds a master's from Juilliard, and Jesse, not from Columbia, is the most recent musical director for Postmodern Jukebox. But these endeavors barely scratch the surface of the many styles and projects these two have taken on. Their duo, 1 and 2, blended more kinds of written and improvised music than I could list, and was one of my favorite New York ensembles for several years. Lately, they funneled all of their skill, talent, and creativity into a new project, Musiquita, where they play fun, connective, yet remarkably serious music to young children. As they both say, we don't dumb it down or try to beat the kids up with education. We want to invite them to experience real music, and the kids are absolutely ready for that. Oh, and did I mention, they do all of this collaboration while being married and raising 2 kids. I can't imagine. I cannot express how honored I am that these 2 people invited me into their home to perform and talk about everything they've learned about music, life, and love through this new project. So tap into your inner child, sit back, and please enjoy Musiquita. All right, Jesse, Blanca, Jesse, welcome to the show. I'm really, really excited to have you guys. How long have we known each other?
Ooh, good question.
I think we met, and I was playing that gig with you right when you 2 met. I think one time you were saying at the gig, Blanca's coming tonight.
It's been
and the guys in the band were like, ooh, kind of thing.
So it's been like probably 8, 9 years.
9, maybe even
almost 10.
10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And just to like catch anybody up, you 2 are married.
We are married.
That we are.
And you have 2 beautiful, amazing kids. They're so freaking cute.
They are, yes.
When I watch your videos, it just like...
Yeah.
When the ones where they're with you, I'm like, those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Those are the hardest ones to shoot. Yeah.
Can you tell us about your project, what you've been doing, and when it started, and why it's so joyful and makes you so happy?
You want to start?
Yeah. So because of COVID, we started this program or this project or this thing called Musiquita, which is basically a really fun and funky exploration of music making with your family.
Yeah.
And in particular, it's the combination of Blanca and I. So it's music in Spanish, music in English, music that has like a jazz sort of influence, music that has a classical influence. We have a lot of like sort of conflicting influences. We're very, very different people.
Right.
And out of that comes this really bizarre world of Musiquita, which is we talked to
and it's like a punk rock for teenagers thing, right?
Yeah. So it's music for most of our audience members are between 0 and 5 years old.
Okay. All right.
With their
That's why
+1.
I love it so much. That's why I feel so connected to it when I watch it.
Us too. With their adult +1s, our twos. And
sometimes +3s, +4s, because the abuelitas come and the tias and the tios and everybody's there.
Wow.
Yeah. So what we're doing is very just unique to the 2 of us and who we are and how we differ. And basically COVID hit, we went into lockdown, and then all the money stopped coming in for gigs because there weren't any gigs. So Blanca was already doing music for children, and she was so good at it. So she thought, okay, this is something I can do. And I said, okay, I'll join you. I'll sit down in the park with you and play melodica and play some bongos. And,
wow.
That's how
it really started organically. You weren't like, let's start a business.
No, not at all.
No.
We just pulled out a blanket and invited people to come, for like really cheap to come and join us, and we started holding circles, and they went really well. And I went from being sort of like passively like, I'll support you in this, like we need to work, to being like, wow,
This is my project now.
no, to just feeling this sense of deep meaning,
Yeah.
meaningfulness. Like,
Well, we were talking before when we were setting up lights and everything about how a lot of people got really angry really quick during the thing.
Yeah.
And
Right.
when I watched your videos, I was going back in time and I was watching from like kind of the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start publishing videos?
Well, the videos themselves that you see on the YouTube channel are post like the start. So it started out as like this kind of impromptu live stream that was like let's get together once a week. Everybody's at home freaked out because nobody knows what this virus is, and like and everybody's just scared, and the kids and all the parents are stuck inside and like, what do I do with my kids?
But I was seeing some videos from like
Those were like interactive, like
and it was so joyful,
that was
and
this
happy, and
Right.
just love oriented.
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
thinking back to all the people who were so angry and were tweeting about
Yes.
the pandemic
Sure,
and the lockdown and the politics and all of this.
This
And
was
I was thinking, wow, you guys
Yes.
really went the opposite way.
Yes.
It was much needed.
Don't you think projects are always better when they start organically? Like
Yeah, absolutely.
rather than like, I want to start a business or I want to make an album with some like great musicians
Yeah,
and
yeah.
therefore I'll write some music, you know. But when
Right.
it comes like after the fact, maybe we
Yeah.
should start a website because we have this thing that we've been
right,
doing,
like we
you
need
know?
to make it easier to produce these circles and
Yeah.
invite people. And so where do they get all the info? So it did come very organically.
Yeah. It was just two musicians trying to figure out how to get organized enough to run a business, which is like on that end of things, we felt like we were a little bit in over our heads.
Yeah, can you tell me how to do that?
I mean, we still don't.
You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding.
We still don't have an email list. People
Yeah.
are like,
Yeah.
you know, like when we go play in Central Park, we have people saying, "Oh, put us on your Central Park email list." We're like, "Yeah, we'll do."
So it started with the idea of doing something for the community.
Yeah.
For the community.
And now it's like all the.
Well, then I hope you make $10 million.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
like-
for the
Yeah.
community. It's
Now we're all over
absolutely
the-
for the people.
I think we've hit every borough except for the Bronx.
The Bronx, yeah.
and Jersey. You know.
No, we
and-
played in Jersey.
No, I know.
We
did.
played in Staten Island, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island.
You said something.
Jersey.
You're playing like 7 gigs a week, 6,
Yeah,
7 gigs a
sometimes
week.
more. Yeah, and private parties all the time, and yeah. So we started out very casually, and then it grew on us, and we kind of fell in love with the project and working together, and also we got to experience a lot more fulfillment as musicians. So like before this, I was primarily playing the piano, and she was playing violin.
Yeah, and that's it.
And a lot of the gigs I was doing, you know, in the showbiz world, I just feel like, you know,
That's how we met.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's music, and the economics of it is there's music and there's alcohol.
Yeah.
And that's how that works. And now we've got this like very deeply meaningful thing where there's like music and there's enriching
And kids and alcohol, right? No, I'm just kidding.
And juice
like
boxes.
enriching children's lives.
Yeah.
And then we went from it's more about connecting with these kids than it is about playing the piano well or playing the violin well. So we went from like just playing the keys to being like, now I'm going to sing.
So-
Not only am I going to sing, but I'm going to look at this kid in the eyes, and I'm going to like meet them where they are and give them something.
So just look at me when you want to start playing behind you,
Cool.
and then you can say.
And we'll lay out for a bit, let him do a solo, and then we'll come back in
Yeah.
to build back to the next section. Here it goes. I'd like to sing about shapes for a minute. If you learn the melody, you can sing along with me. Goes like this. Point, line, triangle, square, pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon. Point, line, triangle, square, pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon. Point,
Todo comienza con un punto.
triangle, square,
Y si tienes dos puntos,
pentagon,
haces
hexagon,
una
heptagon,
línea. Tres
octagon.
puntos hacen un triángulo.
Triangle,
Cuatro, un cuadrado. Cinco, un pentágono. Seis, un hexágono. Y si tienes 7 puntos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, haces un heptágono. 8 son como los tentáculos de un pulpo. Un octágono. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, cuadrado, pentágono, hexágono, heptágono, octágono.
No matter how hard you try, you can't make a circle out of straight lines.
Es imposible.
But if you take a line and bend it slowly until both ends meet, you can make a circle, my friends. You can make a circle that never ends. You can make a circle, my friends. You can make a circle that never ends. Now crush it down into a point, line, triangle, square,
cuadrado, pentágono, hexágono, heptágono, octágono. Punto, línea, triángulo, cuadrado, pentágono, hexágono, heptágono, octágono. Punto, línea, triángulo, cuadrado, pentágono, hexágono,
You can make a circle, my friends. You can make a circle that never ends. You can make a circle, my friends. Yeah, you can make a circle that never ends. Yes, you can. You can make a circle, my friends.
que no termina.
Make a circle that never ends. You can make a circle. Crush it down into a point.
Oh my gosh.
That's the most fun I've had in a while. I noticed that, like, in your videos, you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like looking at the camera
Yeah.
and like
That-
smiles and all
Yeah.
of this. And
That's
like,
intentional. That's to
I-
invite them to feel comfortable
Yeah.
and to invite them into the experience. And then also we're just
it's
as
like your
silly-
friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like, and we are friends,
Yeah.
but I felt like, oh, they're singing to me.
Yeah.
Like, it feels nice
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
this, you know?
And it just becomes
I
this-
swear to God, that's how I felt.
Yeah, good.
the live experience becomes very, very egoless because you get to the circle. We almost never have a set list. We read the crowd, we know these kids, and for the ones we don't know, we figure out how to connect with them, and be it like it's not just the piano now. It's the keyboard, it's the melodica, it's the cajon, it's bongos, it's singing harmonies, and putting ourselves out on a limb and doing so for them. It's all about them.
I
So
just
we're
love it.
constantly connecting. And we walk up to them, we play, we make eye contact, and we play right up close to them. You know, try to maintain a little distance for the comfort level of the parents. But it's all about including them in the experience.
And they're adults. So it's about, so the way that we connect with the children, one of the ways we connect with the children is by encouraging and inviting the adults who are very often, not ready to sing and not ready to dance or participate. Like they just kind of like,
Adults
wanna
get
sit,
shy. They got a little bit more baggage. Than,
or we have a lot of things in our mind.
Right,
like, oh,
sure.
can I sneak an email right now? You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But it's like more like, okay, parents, can you copy me as best as you can? And so we're doing all these gestures, and often our circle starts, like most children's programs, with like some sort of hello. So we have our hello song, and it's a lot of like, high and getting.
I should have a hello song in my jazz set.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
great. It's great. We have a hello and a goodbye song, and it's just like
and
this
the kids,
ritual.
so the more they come, the more the families come. They know the music, and they're starting to sing. And the babies, like, they see us going hi, hello, and they start copying all this stuff. And we're like, let's get goofy. Let's count like monkeys. Let's like sing solfege. Let's march staccato. Like, we're throwing out all this information.
Okay, so I want to ask, because there's a whole lot of people out there that, played a little guitar, they learned the wheels on the bus, and I've been to some of these classes, like with my sister and her kids.
Yeah.
And okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a hater here.
You're right.
No.
Good for them. It's beautiful. Blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah. But let's just, for anybody that doesn't know, I saw your graduate recital
Right.
at Juilliard,
Right.
and it was like I felt guilty for not paying $60 for a ticket. You're a jazz. Can I call you a jazz musician? Is that
Sure,
fair?
sure. That's a
Like,
thing.
no, but you're incredible.
That's a hat I wear.
You're an incredible improvising musician. I've seen you play so many kinds of styles
Yeah.
and just nail it. And it's not only like professional, but creative and
Yeah.
artistic. And so you are two of the most trained, I would
Yeah.
say, two of the most trained and skilled and talented musicians who are singing to kids.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Do you think that also makes it better?
I think
Yes.
so. There's that level of professionality, but there's also the fact that we're doing certain things like singing in front of people that we never did before this. So
There's
I
a
think-
vulnerability that we bring that
But I
connects.
guess
That's
what I'm
exciting
getting at
for
is
people.
like kids don't know Schumann. They don't know
No, and,
Bach.
yeah.
But do you think that they maybe connect to like this level of artistry a little bit
They
better?
do.
Than just like
Absolutely.
C chords.
And
C
Absolutely.
chord.
And I guess the whole thing goes along with our like parental philosophy, which is like a work in progress because we are new parents. We've got a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old, but we don't dumb anything down for the kids.
Right.
Like kids are ready to hear Mozart. They're ready to hear Bach. They're ready to hear a free improvisation.
Yeah.
They're ready to hear Wheels on the Bus.
Yeah.
They're ready to hear something original.
Yeah.
They're capable of that. They get it. They're super creative. They're magical, not yet logical.
Yeah.
That's a very musical space to be in.
Yeah.
And we also feel that not only that it's not good to say, oh, you're a cute look at this cute little kid.
Right.
We treat them like
That's
people.
how I teach. I
Yes.
just treat them like a human
You're a
being.
person. You're a human.
and
You
we
have
got a kid, you're a
opinions. You
person.
have yes.
And we also don't want to hit them over the head with education. We want them to get involved in a musical space, to enjoy it, to become part of it. It's a very inclusive musical space. So like we're trying to play the best we can, but people are shaking and doing everything, all sorts of different rhythms and singing whatever notes they want. It's cool. It's all about inclusivity, inviting them to be involved and not telling them what to do. And if a kid just wants to sit or take a nap or cry or throw a fit or run away, that's fine. So we're encouraging the parents not to tell them what to do. Or when we have like hand gestures, don't grab their arms and move them for them. They're like, don't make them your puppets. Like,
Be here with them.
be here
and
with
you
them.
also be a part of this music
Yeah,
experience. So
right.
that's where like bringing like, sometimes we'll play some Bach. Sometimes we'll play Spain by Chick Corea. Sometimes we'll throw a Debussy arrangement that we recreated. I mean, like like we don't want to dumb it down to just like major happy sounding songs
Right.
that are 1-4-5-1 and
Yeah.
that's it, because the children are ready for all of it. The parents also, they like, we don't, as parents, we often think they can't handle, like, let's sort of like make it an easy life for them.
Right.
But no, they're ready. Like, if you want to scream, like, if you're happy and you know it, fine, clap your hands. If you're angry and you know it, yell,
it.
ah,
Oh, that's
you
so
know,
good.
and it's like,
you want to
just
cry,
do it.
cry, yeah.
I just love
Yeah.
it. I love every part of this project. I love how it started. I love the two people who are doing it. I love what not dumbing it down is so beautiful. You don't have to do that for kids.
Yeah.
I've always noticed playing jazz gigs in restaurants, brunch gigs, that the parents will walk out the door by the band and they're like, oh, band. And the kid will sit there and
Kids
like
get it.
really get into
Kids get it.
they'll watch the drums and the bass and
Yeah.
they'll look
Yes.
at the rolls and they'll be like, oh, so you're doing that. And I'm talking about 2 years old.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, exactly,
yes.
yeah.
So it's
Yes.
just beautiful. What's it like to be married to a musician, to a serious, dedicated musician when you're a musician?
It's really hard.
Yeah, really.
It's really
Thank you
hard.
for the honesty.
Yeah. It's really hard because
Because I always thought like that would be so neat. It would be so cool that somebody understands what you're doing. But it's also cool when they're like, wow, I have no idea what you're doing. It's like you're a magician. And I'm like, yeah,
no,
there's nothing formal about this. I just make magic. Like, you know. Well, what's it like?
I mean, so when I say it's hard is because you both are really passionate about something that requires a lot of attention and a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
So allowing yourself to do it for yourself and allowing your other to do it for themselves.
Right.
Like, and creating that space and that support is like, you know, it's very selfless thing to do. And also as a musician, you have to be kind of selfish sometimes
you do.
in order to like get that practice in or get that project done or get that song written or whatever.
That's the part that's not as hard, is that we both understand that.
So we understand each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we try our best to give each other that space. And
Are
luckily,
you ever doing the opposite? Like, hey man, I think you should practice a little bit. Like, you ever doing that kind of thing?
sometimes actually because of Musiquita, we started
Push
doing
each other a
this.
little bit.
So we're like, he will often like say, you gotta, like for example, like don't start singing unless you know the note. that you're starting
She'll
on.
jump in on a tune. I'm like, I don't know what key you're in, man. I don't have perfect
know.
pitch.
Because we've all rehearsed with so many people, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know, musicians are sensitive people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we
Feel
get
their feelings.
Oh my
so-
goodness.
we get on each other's
and when
cases
we
a lot.
practice,
Right.
and it's like soloing as a classical musician when it comes to improvising, and then he's often, you know, giving me feedback and sometimes like taking that as constructive criticism or as like, hey, like.
I mean,
It's
But-
fascinating. It's
Yeah.
not just like you're playing string quartet gigs and you're going out and playing showbiz gigs.
Yeah.
You're working in this project together.
yeah, and
Yes.
we're trained very differently.
Yes.
So, which is actually a strength.
Yeah.
As long as we communicate well with each other, and you know, not only two professional musicians, you know, communicating and working together so regularly that we can bump heads sometimes. But the fact that we're also married,
Yeah.
so like it blurs the line, you know.
But we have gotten really good, I have to say.
Small, sweet space between like, you know, being passionate,
Yeah.
and having that
Yes.
fire for music, and
Yeah.
being like, no, let's get it right.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like, you know, the dark side or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah,
And remembering like, I only love you.
yeah.
Like I really only love you. That's it.
We've discovered even from the very beginning when we first met, and then half a year later we started making music together. And I had a collection of original music that I shared with her, and you know, I taught her a lot within that context because there were a lot of things that she wasn't used to seeing, like, you know, just chord symbols
Yeah.
and slash marks and like
So we're
repeats.
talking about improvisation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of unfamiliar territory for her, and that was a lot of growing and
Yeah.
some challenges. And then there was also, for me, she made my music come alive because she would take a form
I
and
can see that.
teach me how to play it.
I loved that group,
you know,
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always tried to come as much as I could. It
Yeah.
was so beautiful.
She was teaching me how to phrase and how to think very, very differently. I'm used to thinking more on a grid. You know, jazz musicians just think about music very, very differently. So for her to like, oh, let's let this phrase breathe, and when it goes this way, let's speed it up, and then we'll take a little more time here, and then can we take a breath and land on this downbeat together? And I'm like,
And you're
all
like,
these
bro, what are you
things I
talking
never
about, bro?
thought
Just
about.
play it in the pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
and like, what does this scene remind you of? And she's like, I see the ocean, but I see something underneath. It's bubbling up. Like, okay.
Okay.
So how does that affect how I'm going to play
I
this
wanna
one
take
chord?
lessons.
Like, you
I
know,
want lessons.
we met a great mentor, Vera Tishif, who's
Right,
like
I remember this.
a retired concert pianist who helped us a lot with our untraining. Basically, helped us
Yeah.
undo a lot of the things that music school gave us. You know, the tools that we learn from music school are essential,
Are essential.
and you need those things. But I think one of my regrets, you had that question right about what's one thing you would do differently, and I would not box
Oh,
myself
let's do that
in.
now. This is
Yeah.
Wish I'd Known Then.
Yeah, Wish
That's
I'd
a
Known
segment
Then.
we do every show.
Sorry, I'm jumping
Something I
in.
wish I'd known. No, it's great.
It's
It's
perfect,
so
yes.
organic. Something I wish I had known when I was younger.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
maybe talk to yourself when you're 16 or
So
something.
yeah, I found as a
24
young
or
adult, I started when I went to Interlochen, I started composing some really weird music, and my parents got concerned. I mean, really, I went off the deep end. I'd gotten in a car accident.
I went to Cal Arts, man.
Yeah, you know. So
I saw people
yeah.
urinate on
Yeah,
stage.
yeah, yeah.
Like I've seen all kinds of stuff.
So I had this piece that was based on this car accident I was in, and it was a string quartet plus snare drum, and this piece was super disturbing. For me, the musical education, while it's so great, I wish I had known that. I wish I had known not to box myself in so much.
Right.
I allowed that experience to define who I was as a musician and to define what was meaningful in the context of music. When I started learning how to play some more dense, complicated harmonies, I thought that was somehow closer to truth than a triad.
Right,
And-
because the when we study the people may not know, when you study the history of music in 4 semesters, you're not studying the history of music. You're studying the history of changes
Yeah.
in Western music.
Right.
So for every one Stravinsky that had this great innovation that you need to study, and I love Stravinsky,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's thousands of people who are playing pavons for people to dance
Yeah.
with.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And-
It's
Yes.
Nothing is more or
so
less.
you get that in your head that it's
Right.
like, I need to do something different,
Right.
which is, I love innovation. I'm
Yes.
trying to be creative.
Yes.
I'm trying to do something different, but it starts to become almost like aliening,
Yeah.
A little bit
not
forced.
connective to music, to
So
Yeah.
humans.
if I had known when I was 16, you know, I would have avoided a lot of problems through my 20s, I think. Jumping into the professional scene was very difficult for me. And one of the biggest challenges was that I was like this about who I was as a musician.
That's funny because when we met and I started playing that gig with you, we played this gig.
Yeah.
It was a burlesque gig.
Yeah.
We played everything from Duke Ellington
Yeah.
to Prince and beyond,
Yeah.
Rihanna, whatever.
Yeah.
And my thing about you was you could do anything
Yeah.
in a connective way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
anything
I
that
had
you
the
played.
same feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess I started learning that a while back
While you were working.
Yeah,
On
while
on the scene in the scene.
while I was receiving my untraining, my early untraining. But yeah,
That's
that was
very.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Training.
so that would be my if I had known then I would have said, Jesse, music is music. Music is not what you do at the piano or what you do when you're sitting down and writing notes on a piece of paper. Music is much bigger than that. And now being able to meet these kids where they are and affect them in a positive way through music, whatever it is, whether I'm holding an egg shaker or singing or just being silly, running around with the melodica, it's all valid.
Laying on the grass with your feet upside down.
Yeah, it's all music, and it's all.
Awesome. I'm coming. I'm
Yeah.
gonna come to the gig soon.
Come.
So we due to
Let me
this
know when
pro-
you do it in Brooklyn, especially Prospect
Okay.
Park.
Yeah,
I
we've
will
taken
definitely
we've
be
taken
there.
the blinders off.
Yeah.
And it's taken too long. I'll be
Because you can't play non-human music to children.
no,
It
yeah,
has
right.
to connect
Right.
first, which probably should always be the
Yeah.
basis.
Right.
And, and
right.
forget
And then
the-
innovation and like
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah,
that's
it
great.
comes.
It's
But
totally-
it comes and it
Yeah.
happens. Like all of a sudden, like we are playing, for example, animal sound. Like we're going through like Old MacDonald in the Farm or whatever.
Right.
We have our own versions of all these things,
Yeah.
and it's like making those sounds on the violin that nobody taught me at
Right.
any school. So
But
it's like,
you also
"Ooh,"
did
or like,
study extended techniques. You do know
yes.
how
So
to...
there, so these tools of as a little person or like in your training, what is the question? How do you phrase it? If I had known then what I know now.
What's something you wish you'd known earlier?
So
earlier in life?
first of all, I'm totally pro the education. If you're interested, go absorb it, take it in,
Sure.
take it in. There's
I don't
so,
think I would have learned music theory without someone making me.
and you have to absorb, and the tools are there, and they will make you
Yeah.
able. They will help you translate into any language or any genre or any place,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, you have those tools so you can do it.
But it's a starting point.
But it's a starting point.
It's
And
not-
then, so don't get boxed in. So this like kind of
Right.
looking in is like, it's just hard to do because
I saw music school ruin people's
Yeah.
love for music. A lot
Yeah.
of people. I had to kind of unlearn that too.
Yeah.
And I went to
Yeah.
Cal Arts, and it was kind of like a freeing
right,
experience.
Yeah,
right.
So I was lucky in that way. But like a lot of people, I think, have to get out and kind of learn how to cleanse some of that while still studying Stravinsky.
Sure,
Like you still
sure.
want to learn more and all of
Exactly.
this. I have a weird question,
Yes.
and we can edit it out if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think when you guys met
Yeah.
that the idea that you're a trained classical musician and that you're an improvising a gigger of all giggers,
Yeah.
you do so many styles I can't even imagine it. Do you think that was attractive at
Yes,
all? Like, it
absolutely.
I
Totally.
don't mean opposites attract, but just the idea that it's like,
Oh, like I will never be with a classical musician. I would have never been with a
Yeah.
classical musician.
Well,
No way.
I mean, I'll same with exactly. But yeah, she met me. I was on a gig playing a burlesque gig.
Yeah.
And I met her. I just loved her personality right away. So I hadn't heard her play.
everyone does.
And then a couple weeks later, I was like, who is this girl? And I checked out a video of her playing Sagan by Ravel, and I was like, she's
Yeah, that
she's a
does it,
beast.
right?
She's a beast. Okay. And then and it's only gotten better from there. So absolutely, it's an attraction.
Yeah.
Opposites attract for sure.
Because
And-
you know jazz is a virtuosic
Yeah.
art form
Yeah.
to an extent. I mean, maybe we're trying to kind of move away from that a bit, but
Yeah.
but still, it's never going to be like when you watch a classical, like a real, like when I came to Recital Blanca, I was
Yeah.
just like, I'm glad I was sitting because my knees were like weak. It was so beautiful. So like, I just wanted to know, like, when you guys met, was it kind of like,
Yeah.
oh wow,
Yeah.
he can
Oh, yeah.
do whatever he wants. How
Yes,
how
yes.
exotic to me.
Totally,
you know?
totally,
Wow.
totally was.
Yeah.
And I absolutely like take my hat off to jazz musicians and improvisers and everybody that just like does whatever.
Well, and
they
then you've
want.
got she's like the one that a new music composer will throw her an impossible chart and be like, "Can you play this?" And you're one of the only violinists who's like, "Well, technically no, but I'm going to go ahead and try." And she does a
Every
great
bit
job
is
with
brave.
it.
To us, you're like
know.
scaling Mount Everest with one arm.
I mean, I look
know,
at
with no
yeah.
cables. It's so scary to me to think about playing Bach.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I look
Yeah.
at some of this stuff she has to read, the scores, and every now and then she's invited me like, "Hey, you could play piano on this chamber music thing," and I look at it, I'm like, "Nope, never."
So, do you think that Musiquita has brought creative energy to you that you didn't expect?
Totally.
Big time.
Like, I'm talking like we talked about the kids, the joy, all
Yeah.
of this connecting
Yeah.
with the kids, but I'm talking about
Ourselves.
just as artists,
Yeah.
just as musicians.
About me?
Do you think it's inspired you in ways that, like, if you were going to do another project, not for kids,
Yeah.
would be different
Fuck
now?
yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
How?
100%.
I'm singing. So
Yeah.
this is I always wanted to sing, but as a violinist in a classical training, I was scared.
Of course.
I was scared.
You're holding
and
yourself
I,
to the highest
and
standard.
I learned.
You went to Juilliard.
I went. And I
Yeah.
learned to.
You
No,
better
I'll
have
say
10
it
years
proud.
of vocal
You know,
lessons before you sing, right? You
I
know?
worked really hard to get there, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy I got there. That audition is like the whole story, is a wild story, but I made it. I got there, and
Yeah.
I got there, and I was like, okay, now what, you know, and so all of a sudden, I always wanted to sing, worked really hard, and learned how to play the instrument really well, and now I'm singing, and it's just like it's not just about the bow and the technique. All of that is very important, but it's also more about like what Vera said, like the untraining of like, don't be explicit. Don't tell me what to think. Like, just do it. Just be there.
So you think this project has changed you as musicians?
Absolutely.
100%. I
Yeah.
mean, for me, I wrote one ballad we have called "Parents Are Not Superheroes," and I
Love it.
started writing it. And
I disagree, by the way. As a non-parent, I'm like, no, they are.
Yeah, that's the illusion that we. But I started writing it, and I sat down. It was one of those things where it actually it was like
Yeah.
within 20 minutes it was done. I sat at the piano. I started writing. Oh, the words came, the melody came, and then I went on a walk, and I was just crying. I just cried for like 40 minutes, and I realized there was something I was tapping into that I had not allowed myself to tap into since I was like 7 or 8, and that certainly got kicked out of me during my music school training. And to allow myself to be so vulnerable and so simple, and to express something so universal, this is a platform for that. And me as like a solo artist, whatever that concept of myself is, I would have never allowed myself to do something like that. But putting my heart on my sleeve, and not even for my own sake, like I'm doing something that all of the parents in this little community we've developed can relate to 100%. You know, the lyric, parents are not superheroes. We have feelings too. Sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're blue, just like you. And just communicating to kids, listen, I remember the moment when I realized my parents were not perfect, and it's really important, you know, as a kid to realize, oh, we're all in this together.
Right. Nobody really knows exactly what.
Yeah, we're relatively young parents. We're just trying to figure it out. We're way in the deep end. We're way, you know. So to let our kids know, hey, we love you, no matter what. You know, we may not be perfect. We may be going through all these issues,
and we often make mistakes. And being open about it with them is like just so.
Yeah. So the project has opened up a channel that was there when I was a kid, and I knew the meaning of music. I knew what music was for when I was a kid. I kind of lost that for a while.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah, and now I feel like I know what it's for again. Wow. So, because when you jump into the professional scene, you're too young to know why you're doing it. You're just like, for me, I was just like, I have to survive. I got to make a buck.
Especially as you're working, practicing in this school to maintain the standard.
Self-criticism and all of this.
And competitiveness. And like, there's room for all of us.
Sure.
We're getting back into understanding the why of it all, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Guys, thank you so much. This was absolutely beautiful, and I'm really just honored and so happy to see you again and to have you on the show. It means more than I can ever tell you. So,
thanks, Ocean.
Let's hear you play some music.
You're the man. Okay.
Baby beluga in the deep blue sea, swim so wild and swim so free. Heaven above and the sea below, and the little white whale on the go. Baby beluga en el océano, nada libre y natural. Cielo arriba y océano hondo, y una ballenita que va y va. Baby beluga, it's the water worm, it's your mama home with you. So happy, way down under where the dolphins play, where they dive and splash all day. The waves roll in and the waves roll out, see the water squirting out of your spout. Beluga en el